So I'd like to again thank the Kingdom for this wonderful event, and actually not just an event, a wonderful initiative, I think. And I've just felt a tremendous energy and buzz the last few days, which has been fantastic. So I'm joined by Yaser, who's the Chief Financial Officer for Madin, to talk about the role of a national champion, which has come up at the Ministers' Roundtable. We're very fortunate to have Yaser here because, in fact, he mentioned to me this morning that I asked how long he was with the organization, and he's been with it since its inception. So you have many, many good stories. So I thought what might be helpful is to kick off, is if just talk us a little bit through the journey of Madin to where it is today, and maybe give some people some familiarity with the organization whilst you're telling that story.
Thank you very much, Peter. Actually, I'm very pleased and honored to be part of the Future Mineral Forum today. If we talk about Ma'aden, and I'm sure every attending guest today have heard the name of Ma'aden a lot today, being the mining champion in Saudi Arabia. Now, Ma'aden started 1997 with a capital of 4 billion Saudi riyal. That's around $1 billion. This $1 billion, half of it cash, right, actually. So the assets built in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia actually was just around $500 million. Now imagine in those 20 to 22 years, right? We have brought this to 90 billion Saudi riyal, $25 billion. So this actually, although the short number of years, but it's a great story behind really building all those assets. And just bear in mind that this is without acquisition. Yeah. So this is not including any acquisition. That's building really assets or mining assets for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through of course Ma'aden. Now there's around 17 sites and mine operated by Ma'aden. We are actually one of the or famous that one of the fastest growing organization worldwide. These sites actually give Ma'aden a diversified assets. We have 3 mega businesses that we operate in right now. If I just go briefly and discuss and mention those businesses, we have the fertilizer business, around 6 million tons of fertilizers right now from 2 initiatives. And we are very soon, inshallah, going to introduce a 3rd initiative of fertilizer. We're going to bring us to 9 million tons of fertilizer. That makes us leaders, right, and the worldwide on the fertilizer business. Secondly, the aluminium business, an integrated aluminium business. We are producing currently 1.8 million tons of alumina and 1 million tons of aluminum, not to mention the downstream industry. Finally, the gold business, where we produce currently 400,000 ounces with a very with a target to reach 1 million ounce, inshallah, in the near future. So this is briefly about Ma'aden.
No, that's fantastic, yeah. And so we just pivoted. I mean, that's a fantastic story. I mean, a growth of 500 million, 25 billion in market cap in 20 years is good by any standard. So I think that kind of transitions us nicely into the role of a national champion. And I know on the last panel we heard about, you know, how important that is, and in the ministerial roundtable it came up several times. And I'd like to extend it beyond just capital. So when you think about your role as a national champion, which I think is quite a heavy responsibility actually, more than other companies, right? But what is the role of a national champion, and how do you guys think about it?
You've said this very right, Peter. It's actually a major role. And the most important thing here when talking about this role is that to have this alignment, right, between the national champion strategy and the company vision, the 2030 and in our example here, in our situation, right? So these alignments will make the really the contribution to Ma'aden strategy is also a contribution to the Kingdom Vision 2030. As I stated earlier, it's a major role. I will just go over what I see in the top of the list of this role. There is a lot detail behind your question, right?
That's a whole conference by itself, probably.
I agree. I agree. You need the whole conference really to talk about this. But I think the role in here will begin with or in the top of the list is in the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So helping the kingdom and building the infrastructure, right, will be really the champion role. And this will sit and pave the way for attracting the international investments. So without a best-in-class infrastructure, right, we will never really see these investments. Secondly, I would like also to mention human capital. The champion really role is also to train the Saudis and to make sure that we have young Saudis, resources with a lot of experience in this very technical business, which is the mining. So a unique business that requires set of capabilities specifically. The know-how and technology is one important part, and the national champion should really contribute into this, bringing the technology and the know-how aspect to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The managing during difficult times. We have seen the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the way performed, right, during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And behind that, a lot of compliance from leaders, from organizations that cause the success of managing this pandemic. Finally, I would just like to also mention that being a role model, right, on compliance, ESG, participate also into developing the mining laws, right, and related regulations. Yeah. All this will really be part, not all, but part of the national champion role.
Well, I think that's very interesting, and I said it's I'd say it with a lot of respect and humility about the level of responsibility for a company that's basically a public company listed to also be a national champion and do things in the best interests of the country. And I think two things were highlighted for me was infrastructure. So where you're going to be a catalyst for building infrastructure that other people will share, like in Australia we saw in the Pilbara. Each company builds their own infrastructure and refuses to share it. And you go, that's not very efficient. So capital will like that. And the other one is the discipline through compliance and how you've handled COVID, I think is a great showcase. So as we look through projecting forward, what do you see in the next 3 to 5 years are the things that will be happening by your organization as a role as a national champion?
Thank you for this question, Peter. before going into this, allow me to just quickly go over what really Ma'aden contributed, being the mining champion here. So if I use the same examples that I used, or elements that I used in your previous question, and talk about infrastructure, we see now Ma'aden has already built two huge mining cities, right? Okay. This is Ras Al Khair and Wa'd Al Shamal, where it carries most of our operation other than the gold mines. We in Ma'aden actually in many occasions led even governmental projects on infrastructure, which is outside the Ma'aden territory, right? So this is something that, as I mentioned earlier, we see that it's a role that we should really consider. Developing human capital. We have a stand here for the Saudi Mining Polytechnic, right? Which is a non-profitable organization that Ma'aden is supporting in order to have educated technicians in the mining industry. So those young Saudis will be trained on simulators, right? To the advanced, very advanced equipments that the mining industry will use. In addition, and very important, if you allow me, Peter, the partnership that Ma'aden entered into was really a very smart partnership, not only bringing the investments and fund, but also bringing the knowledge and know-how. Yeah. The leaders in every business. So if you talk about Alcoa, right, yeah, and being the leader in the aluminium business, Mosaic, right, yeah, Barri, yeah, those are big names that are now in partnership with Ma'aden, bringing the technology and hands-on, yeah, into the operation. Ma'aden built experience in exploration, huge experience in exploration. We have heard also ministers and excellencies today talking about unlocking $1.3 trillion worth of resources. That will require a lot of work and experience, and part of this major role will be played by Ma'aden. So, being said that, I think the next 5 years we will continue with the very ambitious strategy was today mentioned by His Excellency Yaser Armayan, the chairman of Ma'aden. So he mentioned that how much we have grown, and then that we have an ambitious plan to grow more. We will focus on the fertilizer business and gold business. We will also double and triple the spending on exploration, yeah, right, to support our business.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's an exciting future that lies ahead for you. And I think key point there is partnership and collaboration. I think one theme that's threaded, from the very beginning yesterday has been the importance of collaboration and partnering. We've got to, I think the magnitude of the challenges ahead aren't, beyond one company and one organization. So we heard on the other panel about, we're not starting from a cold start. Obviously you guys have been doing some great things in 20 years. I think Aramco is an example, and we talked about the playbook on the last panel. Yes. So what are some of the kind of insights from Aramco that you think can be applied?
Well, Aramco definitely is a great, fabulous story, actually.
Fabulous.
And if you allow me, I will add to that SABIC as another fabulous story. Ma'aden never started from scratch, and this is the smart way actually of achieving what was achieved in 20 years. So definitely there was a lot of let me say benefit that we have gained from the experience of Aramco and SABIC. I remember being since the beginning of with Ma'aden, that a group of executives actually started building these policies of when Ma'aden started. So they really they were part of building this great name now, Ma'aden, the great company.
Yeah, no, I think it's tremendous, and I think because we do a lot of work in the oil industry as well, and I think wherever you go in the world in the oil industry, Aramco's there. It's collaborating with other companies. There's oil service companies, venture capital. So it's a great model, and I always say you don't have to copy things exactly. So
Agree.
Pick what's
Very
good
much.
and what applies.
Agree.
Yeah, so very important.
Agree.
So we're kind of winding down the last few minutes. So I was just thinking, some last thoughts, that you think people should take away from today's discussion, and even listening, the earlier panels. So,
well, I think young Saudis really they should really consider the career on mining. We have heard that the mining is an integral part of our Vision 2030. Right, we spoke about the major resources, right? So I think it's a wonderful career for young Saudis. From Ma'aden point of view, I just would like to say that we're very committed. We're going to continue our journey. We reached maybe a lot of, we doubled many times our revenues, our EBITDA, our assets. We will continue to do.
Yes, so. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you for your time. I mean, I'd be very proud of the organisation that you've been part of building.
I am.
Absolutely, and you should be. And I think the opportunity to become a kind of leading light in the global mining industry is certainly in front of you. So, again, thanks very much. And for those of you here, join me in thanking Yaser today. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.